Hey everyone, welcome back. It's great to see you. I hope you've had a good week and you've been keeping well. Got another busy update coming for you, so I'll try and keep this short. But as ever, I just quickly want to say, if you enjoy my content and you haven't already, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and the like button as well next to it. I know it doesn't seem like a lot to you, but it really does mean the world to me and help me keep making this content for you and bringing you videos. With that said then, in this video we're just going to have a quick check-in with the koi, see how the koi fry are doing, and then we're going to work on the bonsai trees a little bit. So I hope you enjoy the update and thanks for watching everyone.
The koi are all doing really well at the moment, touch wood. Although I say it myself, I am really happy with how the pond has been doing this year. Koi aren't giving me any problems. The water clarity is nice and clear most of the year. The koi are looking nice and healthy and happy. They're just slowly eating me out of house and home as one would expect they would. Managed to get the GoPro in there a couple of days ago, which I shared with you in a relaxation video, and I'll share a little bit of the footage from that with you now in this update. But yeah, as I say, I can't complain. I'm so happy with them. I lose hours just coming out here every day and either titivating with the bonsai or just sitting with the koi and admiring them and playing with them, feeding them as you do. But yeah, ever so happy with how they're doing at the moment and no real problems to report on the koi front.
The koi fry are absolutely loving their new home in this tank then. They're still a nightmare to get in focus on camera, but they're absolutely packing on the growth. You might be able to see now we've got some real tobies in here now. As I say, it's not going to focus very well at all. But you can see they're really starting to grow nicely and it's much easier to see them and keep track of them and just everything in this new tank. So all good on the koi fry front. Hopefully they'll continue to keep growing nicely, and I will keep giving you regular updates on how they're doing, of course.
So I'm just about to start working on this cryptomeria japonica a little bit. It was one of the first ever trees I actually ever bonsai'd, but I'm just about to start de-wiring some of the branches. I think that's the right word, because as you can see, it's just about starting to dig in places on here. So I'm just going to take these wires off and see if the branches have set in the positions that I want them in, and then give it a slight trim and prune and see how it looks. So I'm just going to carefully unwrap the wire from the tree. As you can see here, it's actually dug into the branches quite deeply in places, which isn't 100% ideal, but won't be too much of a problem, because if you give it a couple of weeks, this will just look like more aging into the bark. It makes the branch and the bark just look more gnarled and older, and gives it a bit more character. So I'm just gonna carry on removing this wire, unwrapping it from around the branch, and then I will be taking the other wires off the rest of the tree. So I'll get back to you once I've got this all de-wired. There is the first wire fully removed then, and as you can see, it's done the job and held the branch firmly in place. There's just one branch coming out the bottom here that I definitely want to get rid of, so I'll take him out. Now I've just got to carry on creating nice pads and ramification there. You can see there's some slight biting and damage on the bark, well, fairly deep in places, but as I say, give it a couple of weeks to a month and that should have just aged in with the tree nicely, and it'll just add aging character to the tree. So now I'm just going to carry on continuing to unwire the rest of the tree, see how things go. That's most of the tree unwired then. This really was one of the first trees that I ever did. I don't know what I was thinking around here. There was just wire wrapped around itself, on top of itself, so it looks a bit not so good there at the moment, but hopefully that'll recover and just look nice and gnarly in the future, I'm hoping. But just got a couple more. Got this pair of branches to unwire and this last branch to unwire, but whilst I'm here, here's a good example of wire doing its job perfectly. So you can see the shape, the wires set this branch in a nice long wiggly S shape. Doesn't show as well on camera, I'm trying to find an angle that shows it. It's a nice curly wiggly shape, and it's set there quite nicely, so that's a good example of wire working well, and this tree will look much better once it's all off and tidied up slightly. A completely unwired tree then, so there she is. Quite happy with that, just giving it a slight trim. Now come the winter, we'll be ready to pot into a smaller bonsai pot. But the wires have worked well. They were on for about a year. Probably should have loosened them off at one point, but it's all come out nicely. I'm very happy with that. Now just have to put it back in its home over there for now, and then on to the next tree. So there is the cryptomeria japonica that we were working on earlier, back in its home position. So as I say, I'll just repot it when it gets to the winter, but I'm very happy with how that's looking at the moment. Fits in quite nicely. And then just onto the other bonsais. So this one here is actually the first ever bonsai that I attempted. I literally use it as a learning tree and a practice tree, so you can see I've semi-let the wires get this deep on it, kind of as an experiment when I was learning, and before I had a branch splitter to bend the trunk. So one of my next jobs is to de-wire this one and then repot it into a proper bonsai pot come the winter. But I think it's doing quite well considering it's taking quite a battering as bonsais go. But then everything else, as you'd imagine, starting to grow nicely and really look quite nice and come into its own, even if I do say it myself. So happy with my bonsai collection at the moment. As I said before, I just lose hours every time I come out to the pond, just titivating, playing around, pruning the bonsais, checking on the bonsais, and then getting lost, enjoying the koi and the pond. I think this is the time of year when the bonsais really do complement the pond at their best. Look, absolutely. Well, it's just so colourful and nice contrast. So took the wires off this tree earlier, gave it a little bit of a rewire. That's mainly what I've been going around doing this morning, is just pruning as and where was needed and starting to take off wires as and where needed. Nice maple here. Love the shape on this one. Grew this from seed last year. It's about 1.5 years old now, this maple, but starting to come into its own quite nicely. Then I've got to de-wire this conifer sooner rather than later. As you can see, again, it's digging into the bark very, very badly there. But this just, we've got so many conifers, they land the eye everywhere around the garden. I wasn't particularly worried, it was more an experiment than anything else. So but that is pretty much how things are on the bonsai front. And here's the rose that I showed you last week, which originally came out of this bonsai tree's pot and was only this big at the start of the season. And it's now fully in flower, and it's such a lovely, vibrant shade of pink. It's a lovely, beautiful rose. So overjoyed with how that one's come out. Then just quickly in the greenhouse, then we've got lettuce coming out of our ears, which we're starting to eat like rabbits at the moment. Just, yeah, loads of lettuce, can't eat it quick enough. Everything else is doing okay. We've got a few, I did see them the other day, yeah, a couple of tiny little watermelons coming. I think they're watermelons, they're melons of some sort. Finally starting to come on that over there, and then loads of tomatoes now. We're picking them regularly and using them in our salads. So we've got a nice lot of tomatoes coming. So everything growing nicely in the greenhouse. No complaints in here. There we have it then. Got a few jobs done around the garden. Still, as is the way with gardening, plenty more to do. But I hope you enjoyed seeing how the koi are doing and working with me on the bonsai for a little bit. It really was a joy sharing it with you and letting you hopefully experience a bit of some of the pleasure that I get from the pond and the garden as well. All that's left to be said then, as ever, is if you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget to give that subscribe button a smash and the like button as well. I know it doesn't seem like a lot to you, and I keep on harping on about it, but it really does mean the world to me. And yeah, it keeps me motivated to keep making these videos for you. Like I keep saying, I'm sounding like a broken record, but I really do appreciate every bit of support and all your comments and kind words that you keep giving me week in and week out. It means absolutely everything to me, as I say. I'll see you in the next one, everyone. Take care.